Toodaloo, I'm back. It's easy to do a bunch of videos in a sequence because you get one and you're like, oh, I got another idea. I might as well do another one. So yeah, I was going to do one on genetic advantages that I've been given, which is cool. My mom and dad are both from Newfoundland, and I figured, they're just average folks, but there was something that was passed down in my family, which is cool. Like, there's a lot of things actually that were passed down in my family, which are cool. I noticed that everybody in I've only had one relative die the whole time I've been alive, and that was a great grandmother, and she died at 98 of she had cancer in a bunch of places and everything. But people in our family live to be very old, and it doesn't seem to matter what you do health-wise. They're just good structure. I know that I have a really hardy immune system. My buddy Chris Sabaw got the same flu I did. It was late high school or whatever. And he was sick for 2 weeks because he was a smoker at the time and he was out of shape. I beat it in a day and a half. Boom! Of course, I drank a lot of vitamin C, but made a huge difference. I have a very crazy appetite. I can eat fucking 2 boxes of Kraft Dinner. My stomach is this big, so in case I need a lot of food, I can fucking do it. And I eat fast too. And I keep chewing. I'll chew the previous bite as I'm scooping in another one, and I just keep chewing and chewing and chewing, and I swallow the whole thing. So I could be in the army fucking 10-minute meals. Just. I have a crazy high metabolism. It's ridiculous, and it seems to not be going down as I get older. It seems to be going up. But a lot of it is attitude-based. If I'm in a bad mood or if I'm feeling run down, which is very rare nowadays, then I notice that I'm not as energetic as normal. But I think it's mental. I get myself mentally pumped up, and and I don't seem to gain weight no matter what I eat, which is cool as well. I have extremely ridiculous hand-eye coordination. I once caught a knife somebody threw at me Buffy style. It was cool. I took a test when I was in grade 2 or something like that, or grade 3, for it's just different aptitudes like spatial relations and all this stuff. And I beat 98% of Canada, and I got some crazy high marks on everything. I figured, okay, hand-eye, I'm going to do really good. Everything else, not so much. But I think I was the top in the class for a lot of things. And there was only 1 or 2 things I didn't do great on, but I still did really well. My hearing, despite putting a super soaker right here and firing it just with air, no water, and I lost, 10% of my hearing in this ear. It's not a big deal. But sometimes things will line up right, and I can hear fucking crazy, distances. I don't even know how it works, but I know I don't have the best hearing, but it'll sometimes get on the right frequency, and I can fucking hear crazy far. My smell, too, despite having a deviated septum and not being able to breathe properly out of my nose ever, I got 20% in this one right now, and 50% in this one, so it's not even one nostril. I gotta get that worked on, but sometimes I'll get so oversensitive with my smell. One time I went to wash my face. I was a call center, and you get all greasy if you take calls all day. Working computers, you get all greasy. So I went and took a paper towel, and I had somebody flush the toilet in the stall, and it was so fucking loud I almost had to cover my ears. It's one of those powerful toilets, but you shouldn't be covering your ears because it's so loud. And then at the same time, I went to wipe my face off with paper towel, and when I wiped like this, all I could smell was the bleach in the fucking paper towel. I was like, oh my god, what's wrong with me today? It's not always like that, but it comes and goes. I'm partially double jointed, which is cool. I can bend my elbows back a little bit, which is fun. My thumbs are double jointed. I can put my arm back like this, and in case you want to put my arm back up, some people put your arm back and twist. You have to do it a lot harder for me because I'm naturally really resistant to it. I remember being in kung fu class, and they're like, okay, we're gonna, test your pain threshold or expand your pain threshold. It's like push. And I'm like, tell us when it hurts. I'm like, go, go, go. Doesn't really hurt. I easily can build muscle. Not huge amounts of muscle, but I find it takes me very little maintenance to maintain what I got. And I don't work out. Say if I didn't work out for 6 months or a year, I find I keep my shape very easily. I find that when people in my family, it seems, get hurt, I don't know if it's just me, but we say if you bang your head or if you pull a muscle or whatever, our bodies tend to go back to that shape that we started at very easily. I don't have any permanent injuries, really. I mean, I get a little bit of pain on the top of my foot. I don't know what it is. It seems like a ligament pain more than anything. But last time that happened to me, it was on the other foot, and it went away after a while. But generally, we tend to not have any lasting injuries unless it's something really bad. I'm an empath, which is also crazy. I pick up things like fucking read people like you wouldn't believe. It makes me sick sometimes. I'm finishing people's sentences most of the time. But it depends on how. Sometimes my other things get in the way, like I have ADD, and I'll not notice a lot of this stuff and then just start picking up on it and going, oh god, I didn't notice this whole time that something. I can wake up at any time I want, like even without an alarm clock. I can say I want to be up at 9:30 and I'll be up for 9:20. And I think only once or twice I've ever slept in, like the alarm didn't go off for whatever reason and I kept sleeping in. And the cool thing is I can block out anything. Like a train used to go by in Salisbury at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and at first I was fucking like, but then after a while I just got used to it and I never woke up from the train anymore. So if I can sleep through a train, I can sleep through anything. But the thing is, if somebody opens my door, I'm like, what's up? Like, what's going on? I got the runner's build, that basically same type of build as my Uncle Felix. We're either quite stocky in my family or quite lanky. There's no real in between. And I got the lanky gene. I've got, if it wasn't for my dad though, I'd have little running legs, but now I've got big beefy legs. But I've got the long torso and kind of short legs, so it's kind of fucked up. But I mean, my Uncle Felix can run miles and miles and miles and miles and miles. He's in the military. He's crazy good. And I seem to have that now. I'm starting to get towards that, like running wise. I'm starting to get there. I have some of the hardest fucking teeth. I've chipped a tooth once while I was sleeping. You can barely see it. It's a little tiny chip out of it, but I woke up and there was a little chip out of my tooth and I didn't get it. And then there was another time I woke up and both my big toes were in massive amount of pain, like they'd both been sprained, but no permanent damage. I got 2 cavities on these molars, but it's because I had really deep crevices, not because I didn't brush properly. So I hadn't been to the dentist in 6 years, and he said it looked like I hadn't been to the dentist in 6 months. It's pretty amazing. Really hard, long-lasting teeth, but everyone in my family seems to have really shitty teeth. I'm pretty much the only one I can think of offhand that actually has really nice teeth. I'm very resistant to carpal tunnel syndrome. I've been playing video games since I was a kid, and I would play and play and play and play. As long as you let me sit there and play, I would play. And I'm kind of amazed that I don't have hand problems right now. I'm actually really surprised. I have really hard hard bones. I've never broken a bone. I should have broken a bone many times, and I just don't for some reason. I don't know what it is, but we just have really fucking solid bones. I'm also more flexible, I find, than most people too. But not like crazy flexible, but for somebody my age, very, very good flexibility. I'm a rock star in bed. I had to put that at the end. I had to write this all down because I was forgetting a whole bunch of it. So my disadvantages are poor sight. My whole family's got really bad sight. We all have to wear glasses. We're really slow at, I find I'm really slow. My mom's got a really good healing rate, but I have a fucking terrible healing rate. This scratch is from probably 6 days ago, and it's just starting to fade away now. And it used to be worse than this. It used to be like 2 weeks, but I started taking a lot of vitamin C, and I find that my healing rate is better, but it's still really slow. We tend to have addictive personalities in my family, and I'm really bad for that too. I'll find something fun and I'll fucking do it non-stop. We tend to be drinkers and smokers too, and I like to drink, not all the time, but once in a while, and I don't smoke, but almost everybody in my family is pretty heavy on that. Hair-wise, most of the guys in my family have lost, as you can see, I've lost a little bit of hair, but there's a certain percentage of the guys in my family, I don't know if it's half and half, but they have really full head of hair, never go bald, but I just happen to have get the baldness one. I'm OCD and ADD, which kind of sucks. OCD sometimes can be very bad because aesthetics bother me sometimes. Like, say if this fashion craze came over where you had your pair of pants and one side was cut halfway, that fucking would drive me crazy almost to the point of feeling nauseous. Like, I see certain things, I'm trying to keep it under control, but I see certain aesthetic things that just, I'm like, no, I gotta fix it, you know what I mean? And I actually feel sick to my stomach if I keep thinking about it. It bothers me that much. And I have ADD, which is under control, but I think I should probably get some help for it. I'm going to try soon. I get really bad canker sores. We have really high blood pressure in my family. Eat a lot of salt because we're addicted to salt. And usually I've got acne somewhere in my face. It's pretty bad. But like a couple people in my family have pretty bad acne. Like they're still in high school and they're like 40 or 50. My blood sugar level I find is very touchy. I got to be careful with what I eat because I'll have a cup of coffee and if I put a little too much sugar in, I'm fucking like not in a comfortable way. Like I'm shaking like. You get that uncomfortable, and then I just drink some water or eat something, and then I'm fine, but it's kind of touchy. But it's just part of the package of having a crazy metabolism. I get insomnia pretty easy. I get a little stressed out, but it's not, it's general, like really hard stress. It's not like, oh, I'm a little stressed today because of this and that, but I got a deadline to meet. It's like I hate my job so much, and then I'll have trouble sleeping. I already touched on I have a deviated septum, and I can't breathe properly out of my nose. So that has to be fixed too. I think that's pretty much it, but as you can see, I wrote it down because I couldn't remember, but I have a page full of advantages and maybe half a page of disadvantages. But the advantages are some really fucking kick-ass shit. So yeah, I just thought I'd come in, and I probably got more too. I'll probably just raffle them off later, but anyway. I got a big Adam's apple, which I don't really like.